So for some time you guys have been asking for a room tour, or I guess a video game room. I don't know what, I understand what you guys are looking for, but the problem is my whole house is pretty much taken over by video games. So I don't really have a game room. I have just multiple rooms that have a bunch of games in them. So I thought today we'd kind of, show some of the collection off. Obviously, this is our studio room. This is where we shoot all the episodes. Behind me is pretty much all my Nintendo games. But there's more than that. So you guys have seen a lot of this stuff. I don't know if you've seen the rest of my collection. But before we go into that, I guess maybe I'll just roll footage as I kind of talk. It's been about 5-6 years since I started collecting really hard, and I got really serious about it. It was probably around 2014. My mom passed away from cancer, and in my week of grieving, where I didn't leave my bedroom. I watched YouTube. I watched Game Chasers nonstop and kind of binged everything they had at that point, and other channels that I could find. But it just reminded me, to pretty much go back to the basics in life. What makes you happy? At that point in my life, I was drinking real heavily every single day, just out of my head most of the days. And watching the Game Chasers and getting back into video games kind of grounded me. It made me feel more connected. I mean, I guess in some ways I felt connected to my mother, who had just passed away. It just reminded me of better times growing up, and I think probably a lot of us deal with that. Maybe that's why we collect. I'm not sure, but I've pretty much used this collection in this community as kind of like support. I stopped drinking 3 years ago, and I think a lot of that had to do with the focus I had on collecting video games and starting to get into the YouTube community, and the fact that we were welcomed into that community so quick, arms wide open, was amazing, and it felt good. It reminded me of kind of like the punk rock scene that I had been in for years. That was the other thing. I had stopped pretty much playing music with my band, the River City Rebels, that same year or so, when my mom passed away. So 2013 to 2014, somewhere in there, everything had stopped. My life and what I had known. It was just trying to find an identity. Who was I? Who was I going to be without music, without my family support, my mother? And so it was, a process. And that's where, here we are 6 years later, and I can say that pretty much I have the collection I've always wanted. 14-year-old me would have been like, this is awesome, this is the greatest thing ever. And I think that's another thing in life. You have dreams when you're younger, and as you get older, for some weird reason, those dreams change. They morph, and I get it. You gotta grow up at some point, but stuff like this, I'm still a kid at heart, and I do adult shit, but at the same time, this stuff is fun. I mean, this is the ultimate dream from when I was 14 years old. So that's incredible. And, not to mention the rest of my collections that I have. I'm surrounded by everything that I love. And on top of that, I don't think I would have been able to do this without your help in the community. All you guys have reached out. You've traded with me. You've sold me stuff. You've sent stuff to the channel for content, which, kept me motivated and the rest of us motivated and very focused. So I gotta say thank you to you guys. I appreciate it. Whether you're just watching the channel and commenting, or maybe you're another creator, because that's another thing. I watch all you guys. You create this stuff. We're making our own TV on a daily, weekly basis. It's incredible. Also, I have to thank my girlfriend, because she's been amazing through all of this stuff to allow me to make this kind of stuff happen. Because obviously I've taken over the house, and she's not always all right with it, but for the most part she's pretty pretty cool about it. So I'm very lucky. Yeah, hopefully you guys, you know, I guess that's just a little bit of a backdrop for you guys, because I don't think I've ever talked about it really, how and why this channel started and why I really got serious about collecting video games. But that's pretty much what it is right there. And hopefully you kind of enjoyed all these games. It's really hard to film in here because it's so dark, and so that's kind of a general idea of my collection. Hopefully you enjoyed, and you know, we'll see you again sometime soon on a worse pickup, or maybe, you know, Yesay will be working on the farm. See you guys.